So let me get this straight. The President of the United States just texted the Prime Minister of Norway saying he's done thinking about peace because he didn't get a trophy. And I'm not exaggerating. Donald Trump sent a message to Norway's leader that said, quote, "Considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace." He's threatening a trade war with NATO allies because they hurt his feelings. And here's the kicker. The Norwegian Nobel Committee is independent. The Norwegian government has zero control over who wins. They've explained this to Trump repeatedly. He doesn't care. In his mind, Norway equals Nobel Committee, and they owe him an award for, quote, stopping 8 wars. Which wars, you ask? Cambodia and Thailand had a ceasefire that lasted 3 months before they started shooting again. India and Pakistan? Indians said they handled that themselves. The rest of this list is equally bullshit, but Trump's convinced he deserves a Nobel. So now the Trump is pouting. And when Donald Trump pouts, the global economy pays. This morning, European markets cratered. The stock 600 dropped over 1%. LVMH has his worst day since April. German automakers tanked. Nordis fell 3%. Gold hit a record high because investors are running for cover. Why? Trump announced 10% tariffs on 8 European countries starting February. Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, the UK, Netherlands, and Finland. And if they don't hand over Greenland, which isn't for sale and belongs to Denmark, he's raising tariffs to 25% in June. The president is sanctioning our closest allies because they won't give him Danish territory. His justification? He didn't win a peace prize. This isn't normal. This isn't strategy. This is a 78-year-old man with an emotional regulation of a toddler who controls nuclear codes and the full economic weight of America. And it gets more pathetic. He's so desperate for the Nobel that Venezuela's opposition leader gave him the medal last week. The medal's just metal. The honor stays with the laureate. Trump doesn't want honor. He wants the trophy, the validation. And when he gets it, he lashes out. So Denmark gets punished. Norway gets punished. 7 other countries get punished. American consumers buying European goods are about to pay more, all because Trump's ego couldn't handle losing. This is governance by a whim. Trump wakes up mad about something, an entire economy spiral. No strategy, no long-term thinking, just impulse, resentment, and a desperate need for approval. The stakes are real. UBS warns these tariffs could raise consumer prices for European goods 4 to 10% within 6 months. Goldman Sachs says they'll cut GDP at affected countries 0.2%. Deutsche Bank polling shows only 17% of Americans support acquiring Greenland, 4% support using force. Trump doesn't care what Americans want, doesn't care what Europeans want, doesn't care about economic fallout or diplomatic consequences. He cares about Donald Trump. That's it. That's the entire calculation. So what do? Call your representatives, tell them you don't want economic warfare against allies over hurt feelings. Pay attention because this is how democracies collapse. Not with tanks, but with a leader governing by impulse, treating foreign policy like a reality show, and stop being surprised. This is who he is. He told us in 2015, showed us for 4 years. He's showing us now a petty, vindictive Trump who will burn down the global economy if it makes him feel important. The world's watching this unfold in real time. They're not laughing. They're preparing for what comes next when you put a narcissist in charge of the most powerful country on earth. Wake up. This isn't a drill.